This story happened about 5 or 6 years ago. At the time, I was a boy in middle school, probably 8th grade. I remember one day after school, I went on my computer that was in my room and joined some online chat room. I would play around on chat rooms from time to time, usually with my friends, but I was just bored after school this time. I remember chatting with some random people for a while, and then I started talking to a girl that said she was in high school and she seemed pretty nice. I stopped joking around and had a pretty normal conversation with her. I asked her where she lived, and we happened to live in the same state. Then she told me that she lived in a town that was not too far away from mine. I thought this was a nice coincidence. We talked for a while, and then she told me to start messaging with her on Kik. Kik was a popular messaging app back then, so of course I had one. You could have a profile on Kik with a picture, so I was curious to see what the girl looked like. We switched our conversation to Kik, and I saw by her profile picture that she looked pretty good. We talked on there for about a week. I was excited that a good-looking older girl seemed to be into me. I asked her for her Snapchat, but she said she didn't have one. This didn't seem weird at all to me back then, because those were the early days of Snapchat, and I had only just made one a couple of months before. Eventually, the girl said that we should hang out. Of course, I couldn't drive because I was just 13, but she told me she had just turned 16 and got her license. I told her to come over on Friday after school, and I gave her my address. She agreed. When Friday came around, I was pretty excited. I got home from school and immediately messaged her, but when I did, she didn't respond. I waited and waited, but there was still no response. After a while, I grew impatient and realized she must have decided not to come. Then later that night, I looked on Kik again and saw that her account was gone. I was confused and a little disappointed. I figured she blocked me or something, but I wasn't all that mad because I thought the whole time that it just felt a little bit weird. I wasn't completely sure if she was even real or not, so I decided to just forget the whole thing. But a few days later, during the next week, out of nowhere I got a message from her again. She said she was sorry that she couldn't make it, but something came up. At this point, I was pretty much over her, so I just said, "It's fine, don't worry about it." She sent a smile face back, and I didn't respond. I wasn't really interested to see if she would say anything else, so I turned off notifications for the Kik app. When I came home from school that day, I got into my room and noticed that my window was open. I always kept it shut, so I figured one of my parents opened it for some reason, and I closed it. I did some homework and then played video games for the rest of the night. Then at about 11, I went to bed. As I lay down and closed my eyes, for some reason I just got curious to see if that girl ever responded to me. I guess it just bothered me how her account was completely gone and then back again. I got my phone from my nightstand and opened the Kik app. I saw that I had about 5 messages, all from the same girl. As I read them, I started to get the chills. The first one said, "Hey, I've decided to come over today." The next one said, "I'm here, where are you?" Then there was a picture of my bedroom. Then she said, "Guess I will just wait for you here." And then the last text, which was sent just an hour ago, that said, "Look in your closet." I felt like I couldn't move. I looked around my room to my closet, which was on the other side. The door was slightly cracked open, but I really couldn't see inside. I wasn't going to take any chances. I slowly was able to sit up in my bed. Then I stood up. I couldn't help but stare at the closet door the whole time. As I started to walk, I saw it slowly start to open. My jaw dropped. The door kept opening, and when it was open enough to see inside, I saw not a girl, but a full-grown man. That was enough to make me run for the door as fast as I could. I ran out of my room and down the hall to my parents' bedroom. I ran inside and closed the door. Then I woke up my parents. They were pretty confused, and when I told them a man was in my closet, they got even more confused. But I was 13 years old, so my dad didn't think I would make something like that up. He left the room and went to my bedroom. He came back a couple of minutes later saying that the man was probably gone, but he had seen how my closet was messed up and my window was wide open once again. The police ended up being called. I was too embarrassed to tell them the story, so we all just assumed it was a random break-in. I went back on Kik to see that the account was once again deleted, so I don't think I would have been much help to them anyways. Nothing else happened after that. Many years ago, in the early 2000s, I used to go on chat rooms occasionally and talk to people. This is when chat rooms were pretty new, and the internet in general was a fairly new thing, so it was good entertainment back then. I would go on here and there. It wasn't a nightly thing, but maybe once or twice a week. One night when I was in a chat room, there were a few people in the chat just talking about random things. I was somewhat involved in the conversation. Then a user that hadn't been talking posted a link in the chat. Then he said my username. When I saw it, I clicked on the link. When I did, it took me to another website. The website was a creepy looking page that looked fairly cryptic. Then out of nowhere, the page changed once again. It took me to another strange looking page, but this one had a list with many files on it. Most of them appeared to be images. I clicked on one. It took me to a blank page with a photo on it, but I recognized immediately that the photo was my house. The picture looked like it had been taken from the street. Then I went back. I clicked on another photo and saw it was the living room of my house, and then the next photo was my kitchen. But these photos were not taken before I had lived there. They seemed recent. In fact, I saw some of my furniture in the pictures. Then as I got farther down the list of files, I got even more creeped out. I saw a photo of myself. It was a candid photo of me walking into my house. There were several photos just like that. There were none of me actually in my house, thankfully, but I just couldn't believe what I was seeing. I didn't know who or how somebody could get these photos and then find me online. I decided to log out because of how freaked out I was. I turned off my computer. In the days after that followed, I was very careful to look around everywhere I went. I never saw anybody or anything. I also never went back on that chat room. It's been many years since then, but I remember it all the time from how creepy it was. Sometimes I think I dreamed it, but I know it was real. I just don't have any explanation for it. This story happened when I was 9 years old. One night, I was at a sleepover at my friend's house. Me and my other two friends were bored, so we went on Netflix and watched YouTube videos. Then, the younger me wanted a girlfriend, so I said to my friends that we should talk to some girls on Twitch. My friend said that we can talk to other girls on Omegle. I didn't know what Omegle was. He explained to me that you can chat with other strangers and you can talk to girls, so once again, the younger me was excited to give it a chance. While we were going to Omegle, it said you have to be 13 plus or 18 plus, but I didn't care at all, and my other two friends didn't care either, so we went on anyways. While we were on Omegle, we saw mainly guys, but we did see some girls too, so that was really cool for me. But then, we came across this one person. It was a man, and he said, "Want to play a game?" We said sure, and he said, "Would you rather get kidnapped or never get kidnapped?" We said never get kidnapped, and he instantly skipped us after that question. After that, we talked to some other girls and guys, and after a while we closed Omegle, and me and my friends went into the living room to watch TV. A little while into that, we started to hear footsteps coming from upstairs. My friends and I were confused because their parents weren't home at the time, so we got a little bit scared. Then a couple of minutes passed by, and my friends and I had this strange feeling that we were being watched. I turned around, and as soon as I did, I saw a man standing there. When he saw me, the first thing he said was, "Want to play a game?" My friends and I ran out of the room all at once as fast as we could and out of the house. As soon as we were outside, we called the police. We didn't see the man at all as we were outside, and when the police came, they couldn't find him. To this day, I'm never going on Omegle again.